Hey everyone, this is Wolfrun and this is my first Warzone solos win. I've been trying to win at solos for a little bit of time. You'll see there's a previous video I've got about how sweaty solos are because it's completely different to normal Warzone. It's much slower paced, it's much more difficult. And so I often get into top 10, quite a few times into top 5, but I've never won. But in this one I win. So I thought I'd show you tactics, the thought process, and frankly the gun that I now really go to in Warzone, which I think beats the Growl, beats the M4, and is better than any of the assault rifles, and you'll see that later in the game. Early game I've cut it so you just don't see what I'm thinking and doing, but basically I've just shown you the couple of kills I get and the scavenger contracts I'm going to go get. The aim is to get my loadout as soon as possible. I run my first loadout is an overkill loadout. My view is to get enough money so I can buy my first loadout, and then when I get the free loadout, I'll pick up my ghost class at that point. So at the moment I'm just simply doing the scavenger contracts, following through getting the boxes so I can get enough money quickly in order to get the loadout, a luck out in the bunker when I'm picking up my second scavenger contract, and I get a cluster strike and a bunch of cash from the boxes, which is absolutely fantastic. So basically just from ground loot I managed to get the $10,000 I need for my loadout. I decided to head over to this buy station, which is relatively isolated. I don't expect too many people to be around it, so I can get my loadout without too much bother. Also the advantage is the scavenger boxes for the contract I've got on the way are there, because even after I've got the loadout I'm still going to want to have cash in order to get things like gas mask, self-revives, UAVs, etc. So the first loadout I'm running, I know it says there Growl overkill, actually it's a Bruin that I'm using. It's a weapon which absolutely dominates in this game. It has got a faster TTK than any of the assault rifles. When you set it up with a 60 round mags and with my loadout, and I'll do a separate video on it at some point, it is absolutely devastating. I do an overkill, so I get my own MP5 set up. Really I use my MP5 for mobility, so I can get around the map quicker, because the Bruin is an LMG, and so when you're carrying it you're noisy and you're slow, which is no good in solos. I also run amped to make sure I can swap between the two, and I run EOD, and as you'll see later, EOD is an important perk to run in Warzone. A lot of people run cold-blooded, but I think EOD is the one that you should be going to. So here I've got my loadout, I pick up a UAV. My intention is I'm waiting for the next free loadout to come. I'm going to pick up a kill here because I've got someone right in the stadium. At first I thought they were up in the roof, but of course they haven't got the little arrow over it, so they're camped out somewhere down here. They obviously don't hear me at all, and as you can see the Bruin just absolutely takes them out, even just simply with body shots. Now I make a bit of a mistake here because the loadout's coming down. I see the loadout's coming down and I decide I'm going to go grab myself another UAV before I go get the loadout. So I'll spend my 4,000, get the UAV. I've got the cluster strike from a previous box, so I'm just holding on to that for when I need it. And at this point I realise my loadout has dropped on the stadium. That's me checking to see if I can find a helicopter nearby, which there isn't anything nearby. I can't get that loadout. The gas is going to start moving in. There's no way up there. The UAV is showing there's people around me. It's not going to be a good rotation, and so I'm going to go this way. So my plan has to completely change on the fly. Really, is that I'm either going to have to load out and try and get myself more money to buy my second loadout. No contracts near me that I think I can get. So instead I decided to head over to this buy station, partly because I see this car now coming across. I'm thinking someone might be driving to that buy station. I can pick her up, get a kill, and that way I can also get some more money. Because at the moment that's the only option I've really got. So I'm going to rotate that way, because my intention with this circle is really, I'm going to have to rotate through farmland in my view. That's my long-term strategy, because this circle is going to close somewhere near prison, somewhere into farmland. I haven't done the recons for this one, so I'm taking a bit of a guess. But I can see it's going to end up somewhere over that way. And really, I don't want to be rotating through the other direction. I don't want to go through port, downtown and port, because it's going to be quite difficult, especially with solos. You get a lot of snipers, get a lot of camping. That's got too many buildings and too much vertical height. Now, I don't see that car anywhere. I think they've driven straight into farmland. So my decision here is I've now got to sprint across here in order to try and get myself into some better position, better cover. And really, I don't come across many people for the majority of this part of the game. I will edit, and you'll see I've edited it down as I jump between the parts. Here I'm just checking out as I'm across. I do carry a heartbeat sensor. A lot of people will run Ghost, but some people won't, and also when they come back from Gulag they won't have Ghost. As you can see with this circle, my decision is I'm going to rotate along the edge of the circle and take myself to the edge of the map, and then I'm going to work my way down there. I don't come across anyone when I'm doing this, which comes as a bit of a surprise. This rotation is partly the pinwheel and partly used as the edge of the map as cover, so I can effectively cut out almost 180 degrees. As you can see, what I've done is I've moved over to that side, just inside the circle. I'm going to set up here for a little bit so I can gatekeep this back end to make sure that there's no one coming, and I can give myself not a cast iron guarantee, but I don't have to worry as much about what's behind me as I'm pushing forward into the circle. Because I don't think there are going to be that many people rotating this close to the edge of the map. I do have to watch out for people who are there. And remember, I'm not going for kills in this game, I'm going for a win. If I was going for kills, it'd be completely different tactics, more UAVs, more in the centre, and do other things. I'm not looking at that. See, what I'm pushing now is down this edge. I've come across no one. It's relatively exposed, but I don't think that there's that many people who look this way. A lot of them are going to be focusing across farmland between the buildings to make sure they're safe. Frankly, in solos, buildings are really dangerous unless you're able to clear them effectively, and even then you're still going to risk being killed. I didn't really want to go near them. I could have done with more cash, I could have done with my second loadout, but I don't really need that much. I'm fully stacked up on ammo. I haven't got a gas mask, I haven't got a self-revive, but that's going to be okay as it turns out. Now, there was this truck up ahead with a person in it. I was a bit worried they're edge camping here, so when I get up to the truck I don't really see anyone, and I'm checking out to see if I can see anyone at all. They're not coming up on the heartbeat either. So my view is actually they moved away from the truck and used the truck as a bit of a decoy. And so my decision is now, with the circle I can see it's closing, I'm going to try and take this high ground in front of the prison and move out there. But it's going to be important towards the end that I'm holding high ground. And so my decision is basically to sit up here. And again, I think the circle's going to start closing in around me, and so I'm going to want to start gatekeeping to make sure I'm controlling the amount of people coming into the circle. Now, this truck, there is someone down there. I do spot them, and I can see they're starting to move it. I decided to take a couple of pot shots with a broom, but in effect it's pointless. I suppose when looking back at the footage, what I could have done better is maybe use my cluster strike at this point and take them out, but I'm not entirely sure that it's a judgment call to make. So I'm not entirely sure that I would have taken them out. They would have just driven away from it, so I would have just forced them where they were going anyway, and I would have wasted one of my options for later. Now I think they're driving away round behind prison. Turns out they're not. They actually drive back. Now I don't know what changed their mind, but they drive back, and what it turns out is they're going for the bunker down below. I do try and C4 them, which I think's a bit stupid of me really, because I waste a C4. I blatantly am not going to get the truck. But basically have a bit of a crack at it. At the moment here, I'm still gatekeeping. I'm still seeing if people are going to push in, because I want to control this section of high ground. Again, my belief is that the circle is going to be somewhere close to this, and this is what I want to control. So again, I'm keeping a majority of this footage in. I cut out the earlier footage because that's pretty much the same old. But with the final circles, and again, this is the tactic that I get into the top 10, top 5 relatively easily, is that you're really just doing a clever rotation. You're keeping yourself in the safe positions and not pushing buildings too often once you've got the equipment that you think you need to finish the game off. Now this is where someone pops up on the map. They're certainly shooting. There's a bit of a battle going on over prison. This part of the gatekeeping I'll keep a check on, because technically they've got high ground over the top of me, and just then a sniper starts to take shots at me. I've got to relocate myself. I just cannot see where this sniper is. I don't see a glint, so they may not even be using a sniper scope. Might be a marksman rifle, might be a sniper with one of the other scopes on it. But it's a bit of a problem because I can't control what's happening behind me. When this circle forms, it doesn't form where I entirely expected it, so I'm going to have to change my strategy slightly. I was hoping to hold the high ground over here, and now what's going to happen is this person's either going to push to left or right, and we're going to have a very open final circle. Loadouts drop down. I really want my loadout, because for the end, Ghost is going to be vital, because people running heartbeats, people can throw up quite a lot of UAVs at the end, and really that is going to give away where I am. And part of what you want to achieve at the end is to be completely hidden, so that people have to continually guess where you are. The other problem, as you'll see starts happening shortly, is because it's a relatively open final circle, we get a lot of vehicles tracking. Now I'm still relatively confident there's not much happening behind me, because I've kept a real close eye on what's happening behind. You haven't seen too much of that, because I've edited it out just to keep track of what's happening there, a bit of gatekeeping. But no one came up. I wasn't really expecting anyone to rotate through the area that I rotated through. They're more likely to come up through farmland and the buildings just there where I'm looking now. Again, the plan here is I want to go around to my loadout, but I know full well I've got a sniper up on my left. I've had a car driving around, so I'm not really going to move until the gas is getting closer to me. As you can see, I do try and keep myself on the move, even if I'm staying in one spot, just so that it makes it a little bit harder for a sniper to headshot me. I'm not too worried about challenging a truck like this. I do have a C4 if I need to get, if they come close enough. I don't, he might try and run me over. I take a couple of shots with the Bruin in the hope I might be able to hit him a bit. And at this point I can see there's two of them, so I decide I'm going to go for my loadout. And this might well be one of the clutch decisions I make as part of this, is that I go for my loadout. And as you can see, it's sitting there. It's pretty open. It's on the lower ground, which I don't really want. But again, there doesn't seem to be too many people around me, so I can sort of pinwheel my way in this direction. And part of what I want in my loadout is I want my RPG now. I'm going to keep the Bruin, so as I say, I still think the Bruin's absolutely one of the most underrated guns in this game, and it can just completely destroy anyone in a gunfight, long range and short range. The ADS speed is fantastic on it for an LMG, and you get pretty good mobility. I can't say there's a huge difference between this and running around with the M4, the Grau or the Ram. Again, I've set myself up a little bit here, trying to put my back to some cover and trying to gatekeep my way in. Now I can see these trucks are still going around. I think I've not seen anyone win with this strategy. I've seen it a couple of times where people in the more open drive around in the trucks, but at the end they're going to be taken out by C4. See this person, and as you can see, the Bruin just completely decimates them. No problems at all. I hadn't realised I killed them. I thought I'd only downed them, so I was about to put an RPG on them, and luckily I didn't. So I've got a couple of RPG rounds, but not a full loadout. I was going to run over and see if they had a gas mask or anything like that, but they didn't. So I'm going to move in. You see, I use a cluster strike. Once the circle got small enough, I decided to put a cluster strike across the middle of it, over that bit of high ground. Either to see if I can drive people off it, or even better, see if I can get a kill. Now this is where I thought I was going to lose. I thought it was going to happen to me again. I had a sniper on my left. I got shot from the right. I had cover, but not loads of it. I don't know what happened. I don't know whether they started engaging each other. I managed to rearm. You can see the sniper glint in the distance. Now we're down to 5 people. This guy I stumble across. that's just timing and luck. He was there. Again, I'm running a rotation round the circle, trying to keep cover. We're down to 4 people. I'm not going to push straight into the circle. Again, you can see I'm trying to keep cover to a lot of my body so I can turn around and effectively gatekeep into this smaller circle and then push up onto the near high ground, which is actually going to give me a pretty decent oversight of the majority of the final circle. You can see there's not a ton of cover in there. Spot this guy. I miss all my shots. Pretty terrible, actually. And then he jumps up. I managed to down him on the way over. Frankly, this is where the RPG now comes in completely clutch for me, because I know he's in there somewhere, so I end up firing in, and whilst this is happening, someone else dies, I assume to the gas, and I take the clutch, and I clutch the victory. So as you can see, that's my first Warzone solos victory. Really happy with it. Can't say it's a high kill game, but I wanted to talk you through the process and my thought process for it. If you like this video, please give me a like, please give me a subscribe, leave a comment what you think, and check out some of my other videos. Thanks a lot.